Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to another 24/7 report where the press is still dropping transfer rumours left, right and centre despite most of the European nations being in lockdown. Some more Everton stories have dropped, and we're going to start with a massive one which came out today. It's been claimed by 90minutes.com that Everton could be set to make an extremely ambitious swoop to bring in the two superstars of the Welsh national team, Gareth Bale and Aaron Ramsey. Both of them are unsettled abroad with Real Madrid and Juventus respectively, and that makes it a little bit more realistic, I guess, but what makes it a hell of a lot less realistic is the potential wage demands. They are both on around 350 grand a week, and given our highest earner is on around 120k at present, you'd imagine we'd struggle to offer them even half of what they're on at the moment. So getting either of them, I think, depends on how much of a pay cut they'd be willing to accept. There's definitely other teams out there who could afford to pay a bit more than we can, given the state of financial fair play and whatnot. So it's definitely a story that's raising eyebrows, but I think we should also be taking it with a pinch of salt. Now for another player out of favour at Real Madrid, and that's James Rodriguez. He's been linked to Everton again by Marca in Spain. The report suggests that James is attracted by the prospect of playing for Everton under Carlo Ancelotti, and of course that's going to be quite a persistent link given that he has been signed by Ancelotti twice in the past for Real Madrid and then on loan from Real Madrid for Bayern Munich when Ancelotti was manager in the Bundesliga. It's unclear just how Rodriguez would slot in to our 4-4-2 system that Ancelotti seems to have taken to since he's come to Everton, but there's no doubt bringing the Colombian to Goodison would add some much needed skill and guile to our midfield, and it'd make a few naysayers sit up and take note as well. Madrid are keen to avoid losing him on a free in summer 2021, so they're trying to sell him this summer. Zinedine Zidane has never really been a fan of him during either of his spells in charge, but Ancelotti clearly rates him. No price has been mooted just yet, but it's looking like there could be a real possibility with this one, if this is anything to go by. Moving on to yet another player with connections to Ancelotti, and it's yet another Napoli squad member at present, and that is Arkadiusz Milik, because Arena Napoli have suggested that Everton have held preliminary contacts for the Napoli striker, and this post suggests that both clubs are very far away from striking a deal, with Napoli asking for around 50 million euros, while Everton want to start the bidding at around 30 million, so certainly a lot of disparity there. This does strike me as a 2 + 2 = 5 story. Of course, there's plenty of connections with Napoli because of Ancelotti and the managerial change. But despite everything, our attack is probably the position we least need to invest in this summer. We've got two decent strikers doing the business at present, and Moise Keane's a promising young deputy. So I can see a lot more areas in the team in far greater need of strengthening, and I can't see us blowing this much of our budget to add another striker where the money could be utilised a bit more efficiently. One of those positions may be centre-half, but there appears to have been another twist in the Gabriel saga, if there even is one. And that's Manu Lonjon suggests that he's actually close to joining Chelsea and that they're more advanced in their negotiations than we are. Again, though, like Nicolo Schira, who suggested we were the closest, this Lonjon guy doesn't seem to be the most reliable, and I wouldn't read into any of these rumours just yet, as about 10 different slants on this story have been thrown around in the past week or two. So definitely take the Gabriel saga with a bit of a pinch of salt until perhaps at least lockdown's cancelled and people can actually negotiate face-to-face, let's say. Now for the most stereotypical transfer rumour I've heard for quite some time. It's got all the red flags that you need. Spanish news publication Sport, just Sport, have reported that Everton are considering a bid for the Barcelona striker Martin Braithwaite in the summer. Yes, that Martin Braithwaite who couldn't cut the mustard at Middlesbrough in the Championship. He's apparently going to come to Everton. Let's not forget that he only found his way to Barcelona as an emergency striker from Leganés, who are struggling at the foot of La Liga, and now Barcelona want rid already. So that means that as a cast-off, Everton must definitely want him, and it's time for the rinse and repeat classic because West Ham are also interested. And given what day it is. You'd think it was an April Fool, wouldn't you? That someone had come up with, but a Spanish paper has actually written this. How about that sports journalism, eh? And the exhausted storyline of Everton and West Ham pursuing cast-offs doesn't end there. Michael Rummenigge, the former Bayern and Dortmund player, suggested in the London Evening Standard that both Everton and West Ham are potential destinations for Mario Götze following the expiration of his Dortmund contract in the summer. Granted, Götze's a better calibre of player than Braithwaite maybe, but clearly Rummenigge hasn't done his homework on this, because Götze's a number 10 and we'd struggle to find a place for him in a 4-4-2 system, which Ancelotti is using at Everton at the moment. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't riled by what Rummenigge said next in that column. He said, I'm thinking clubs like Everton or West Ham or some Italian middle-of-the-table club. I hope that he shakes off the pressure and finds his way, although right now I have my doubts. Bit of an incendiary comment, a bit patronising there towards us, and I'm not too pleased about it. I'm not sure exactly what Rummenigge's got against Everton. All I can think is that maybe he's a bit scarred by a certain Bayern Munich semi-final from his playing days. Who knows? Staying in Germany, and Bild say that John Joe Kenny has told his Schalke teammates that he wants to stay at the Veltins Arena next season. There is no agreement in place with Everton to make the current loan deal permanent, but it has been suggested that a second season-long loan could be a possibility. Schalke are holding out for a permanent deal, but it remains to be seen whether Everton would sanction that. For me personally, I wouldn't. I rate John Joe Kenny, and I'd like to see him given a run in the first team, certainly over an aging Seamus Coleman and an at times incompetent Jibril Sidibe. Plus, it's always nice, I think, to see a local lad succeed at Everton, and I'd love to see him given the chance as well. Finally, on the transfer front today, one player who may well have ran out of chances at Everton is Theo Walcott, if the Daily Mirror is to be believed. They say that he's going to be made available for transfer in the summer after failing to convince Carlo Ancelotti. And at the age of 31 and still proven to be as inconsistent as ever, I can well believe Carlo Ancelotti is setting out his stall a lot higher than the likes of Theo Walcott. So I definitely wouldn't argue with Walcott being sold if the right offer comes in this summer. One final story, and it's a nice heartwarming one from one of our up-and-coming stars. Moise Kean has put money towards buying respirators and face masks in hospitals back in his native Italy to help the Italians fight back against coronavirus. At a time where we're seeing a lot of people's true colours in football, the likes of the Bournemouth hierarchy and Daniel Levy at Spurs at present, hanging good working people out to dry for their own gain, if you like. It's a real pleasure to know that our club is doing so much to look after the wider community, and it nails home the fact that Everton is more than a football club, especially in these times of need. Better still, it's great to see that we've got these kind of young players in our first team squad who are buying into Everton's community ethos and maybe have that anyway before they even came to the club. Plus, it's another nice middle finger to Graham Souness, which is always a good thing, I think we can all agree. But that's the end of our show today. As always, drop us a comment and let us know your opinions on all the stories that we've covered. Give the vid a like and give our channel a subscribe and get more of our great content. Maybe make your spell in lockdown just a little bit more enjoyable. As always, keep yourself safe out there wherever you are, and until next time.